Greetings, programs! This is Nadia from Trooper Retrospectives coming at you with another Tron video. I've really been into Tron lately and I want to talk about it a little bit more. I've just been really excited about the franchise lately, seeing as Hasbro has recently picked up the license. While I am really disappointed in their 3 3/4 inch scale HasLab based on the original Tron with the light bikes and the display stand, I am super excited to see what's going on with the 6 inch line. And I have already made a video talking about the figures I would like to see in that line. But today I want to dream big, and I mean really big, and talk about the vehicles I would love to see based on the Tron franchise made as toys. Unfortunately, we've only ever gotten a few Tron vehicles made as toys, mostly the light bikes with a few other outliers. So I would really like to get physical plastic representations of most of these vehicles. However, mostly you're only able to get die-cast versions, and some of these not even at all, especially because the Tron Uprising show never got a toy line. So let's dream big and look at lots of toys that will most likely never be made, but we as Tron fans can dream, and I would just like to talk about all the toys I would like to see possibly made as toys in Hasbro's new Tron Legacy toy line. So let's just start with what Hasbro has already revealed, which so far is a light bike, which may or may not include a Sam Flynn figure with it. We know that Sam Flynn is going to have an alternate head available to give him the light cycle helmet. However, I'm not sure if this extra head is going to be included with the light cycle and the figure will be sold separately, or if it will be one pack. Either way, I'm going to try to talk about some figure vehicle combinations that I think would be cool to see, and I think this might help Hasbro justify the cost that could possibly go into this line. I'm not sure if this would be 3 3/4 inch or 6 inch, but I just think these would make some for some really cool toys. So let's start out with Tron Legacy. Of course, we have the Sam Flynn bike already coming out, and the easiest thing for Hasbro to do would be to simply repaint this. We could get two more color schemes based on Tron Legacy, which would be Clue with the yellow color scheme, as well as a Blackguard with the orange color scheme. I think it's important to note that the Blackguards actually have a slightly different design than their normal selves when they are on the light bikes, as they also get the light bike helmets, kind of like Sam Flynn. So this would be a really cool variant for Hasbro to make of the Blackguard if we ever actually end up getting a Blackguard figure. My personal favorite bike from Tron Legacy, though, is actually Kevin Flynn's bike, which is the white bike based on the design of the original Tron movie. It's only in the movie for a little bit, however, it's probably my favorite Tron vehicle design in the entire franchise. It's possible that they could include a Kevin Flynn in his white robes from the beginning of the movie as a sort of pack-in with this character, and this would make for a really cool set, I think. Another potential kind of smaller vehicle in this scale could be a one-man light jet with a black guard. Of course, Spin Master made this vehicle in their Tron Legacy toy line. I have that vehicle. It's spectacular. The lights in it are awesome, so I would love to see it done. And it is, of course, a little smaller, so I think it is plausible. There's also the Light Runner, which is the four-wheeled ATV that Cora uses to rescue Sam Flynn. The Spin Master version of this vehicle is also incredible, and I think you would need this vehicle in order to have a complete feeling toy line. There's also the three-man light jet, which Cora, Sam, and Kevin steal at the end of the movie. Again, this is a vehicle that Spin Master gave us. I don't think Hasbro would ever get around to a vehicle this big, but it would be pretty cool. And one final mention, I don't know whether I should mention this in the section for the original movie, Tron Legacy, or Uprising, since this vehicle appears briefly in all, which is the light tank. We see it briefly in all of these. It's piloted by Clue in the original movie. You see it in the background only for a little bit in Legacy, and it actually appears pretty substantially in Uprising. I think this would make an awesome vehicle. Unfortunately, we've never gotten any representation of it in any toy form. The final vehicle that I would want to see from Tron Legacy then would be the Recognizer. I imagine you could include maybe a Clue Sentry with this vehicle, as they are the ones that pilot it, if you would need to include anything with it. We've never gotten a figure scale one of these, technically, although I think the Spin Master carrying case is pretty close in scale, so I think it works somewhat. However, I would like to see one of these done in actual toy form with all the fun play features and everything. And of course, if you made one of these, you could also repurpose it and make it based on the original film design, which is slightly more green and has more red as it is in the Dillinger system. I think this would make for an awesome vehicle, and I would really love to see the hijacked version when Kevin Flynn takes over a recognizer and it turns all blue. I thought that was an awesome moment, and I would have loved to see something similar to that in the Legacy or Uprising movie or show. The only other vehicles I can really imagine from the original Tron would be the tank, the hijacked recognizer, the original recognizer, and then, of course, the bikes. I believe there are four different colored bikes in the original Tron, which is yellow, orange, red, and blue. I think they could definitely make the all four colors. I think all four colors have been made up to this point between the various companies who have made 3 3/4 inch scale ones. Of course, the HasLab only includes two colors, which I think is pretty pathetic. And I think if you had to include specific characters with the bikes, you could probably do Tron, Kevin Flynn, Sark, and Ram in the four bikes. And this would make for a really cool set of figures. Don't know if this would be 6 inch or 3 3/4 inch, but either way, I would love to see super articulated versions of these characters done up with the light cycles. And I would like to give one final mention here to a few vehicles that I would love to see toys of based on the Tron Uprising series. We unfortunately never got toys based on this show, since it never really got past the first season, and the Spin Master figures based on Tron Legacy already didn't perform super well, so we unfortunately never got toys of any of these designs, despite lots of them being awesome. First off, Hasbro could easily repaint the already revealed light cycle into plenty of different colors based on all the different designs in the Tron Uprising series. You have pink, green, orange, red, just so many different colors they could do there. There's also Zed's bike that he makes, which is the sort of super overpowered bike. I would love to see that. I love the color scheme on that bike, as well as Abel's bike, which is kind of similar to the original 1982 bike, which I think is cool. There is also later on in the series the Light Roadster, which is like a super fancy like muscle car that's used as a prize for catching the Renegade, which was a fun plot beat. And I just think it's a really cool design, so I'd love to see that. There's also a sort of, I don't think there's a name for it, but I'm going to call it a light ATV. It's a sort of small single man ATV that Beck uses early in the series. And then the vehicle I would like to see the most for sure would be the light helicopter. Paige happens to use this vehicle a lot in the show, and she goes through a lot of them. It's kind of the inside joke in the fandom. She destroys a lot of them, but I would love to see this vehicle done in plastic finally. So I think that pretty much covers just about all the different vehicles I could possibly imagine being made in action figure scale based on the Tron franchise. Outside of these, there are lots of other huge scale vehicles like Sark and Clue's ship, the Rectifier, I think it's called, and a few other things. However, I think these are the ones that could potentially be feasible. However, I think it's a pretty big stretch to actually get any of these. I'll be really amazed if we get anything too far past the light cycle, which has already been revealed. I hope they at least do a couple repaints of that, and maybe the one-man light jet at the very least. So let me know what you think. Which of these vehicles would you like to see Hasbro do? And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, maybe subscribe, as I've been making a lot of Tron videos as of late. Maybe check those out if you're a big Tron fan, or just a general toy fan, as there's a lot of interesting history with this franchise and its action figures. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great day. End of line.